Hey everyone, Jay here. Well, if you're tuning in, I appreciate it. This will be week 6 already of the worm feed. So, what we have, the usual suspects so far. We're just going to dust with some crushed up eggshells. Now, they say to wear a mask. I generally don't. I just don't go down there and try to inhale all this stuff as it's falling. That's all. So just be mindful, because this stuff floats up and can get in your lungs and everything. Probably not a great thing. But yeah, this is all I do for the eggshells. Sprinkle some on top. Then I have some spent coffee grounds. There's roughly about 20 pods in here this time. I try to do, half and half because I have another bin to do right after this one. Sprinkle this on top. Try to get half. Doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, that looks about good. Now I can add some shredded cardboard if I want, and I will, because I'm just going to mix this all in anyways, and I'm going to feel the texture of everything, make sure they're all groovy in there. So this is the wormers they call fluffing. Oh yeah, she's still nice and moist. That's why I like not wearing gloves, just so I can feel the texture and everything, feel how damp it is in here. Because from all the research I've done, they say they like it around 80% humidity in here. So I leave, I don't leave this bear open. I have a plastic, like a bubble wrap kind of deal that fits over on the top. So it has a bunch of little bubbles and air pockets in it. So, it gives them their oxygen in there and everything while keeping all the humidity and everything still in. Because you don't want it to dry up in here too much because they won't be able to breathe. And you don't want that. You want to be a good host for your worms. Yeah, these worms are looking good. So yeah, so I just go all the way around. I try not to jab my fingers in there too hard. I'm not trying to squish anyone. But what this does is just kind of aerates it, mixes up whatever remaining food is kind of floating around in there. And like I said, it lets me feel the texture of everything. Now, if you're thinking about getting some worms and you're on the fence and you have a place to keep them and you kind of live, a decent lifestyle with food and whatnot. See, I have a protein shake every morning. So that's like 7 banana peels every week that I'm storing away for these guys, plus all the cardboard and whatever else, fruits and veggies we might be giving them. But when I first started growing, I told myself I didn't want to spend money on worm castings, I didn't want to have to go to the dispensary and buy. So I started growing my own and I got some worms and they outgrew this bin. So I just have another pretty much identical bin to this over there where I keep the worms. I just do this one first for you guys and then I just do the next one real quick. But yeah, once I get this all sort of, mixed up as best you can, doesn't have to be perfect. Try to level it out. And then I'm going to give them their slop for the week, which I just started doing. And I think it's going to be a good idea because right now I'm averaging roughly, what is it, 5 gallon buckets full of worm castings. And that's after I sift it twice. I have a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch sifter that I use, which I'm going to do too at the end of this season. Get these castings ready for my blueberry pancakes. So now I'll dig a little trench over here. We'll do this side. And their slop is mainly banana peels this week. Oh yeah. So I'll try to do half because like I said, this is just going in the next bin. And oh yeah, another thing, I forgot to get to my blender after I blended up the worm food. Like I literally forgot I was doing that. I came back like the next day to make a shake in the morning Yeah, there was the worm food sitting in there still. So just as a reminder, you're either gonna have to continuously just clean that blender out if you're gonna use it for yourself and the worms, or just get two separate blenders. Because yeah, she's smelling pretty ripe in there right now, and there's no way in hell I'd be able to go make a shake. That's pretty disgusting. But the worms are gonna love it. Now, what else I have for them are just some old leaves. They're not quite as dry as I'd like them, but that's okay. I'm just gonna sprinkle these on the top. Maybe putting some over here. What I normally do is just crumple them up, mix them on in there, but they'll break down. And then I'll just cover this back up. Put it back in the corner there where I keep them. And like I said, I don't have to add any water or anything. This feels moist, very moist. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments. But I started out with a half a pound of worms from Mimi's Worms, and I think it was between $30 and $40. It was a mix between the red wigglers and the European night crawlers. The red wigglers, they more or less like to stay kind of top, maybe a little down, but the European night crawlers, they're more or less like mid to a little deeper. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have. I got a lot to do today, so if you tuned in, I appreciate you, and I will see you back in a week. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you. Have a good day.